welcome back everyone to Master Game Design, Unreal Engine 5 Stylized Environment and third-person blueprint course. In the last lesson we left ourselves off by creating a clock tower, and now we are just left with the bell itself. So let's go ahead and get started. We're just going to find ourselves all the bell parts first for that. So yeah, we're going to just go all the way to the back and see which parts we need to use. We're going to make use out of this bell over here. Then we're going to find ourselves a different type of an arc or something to fill the top. So the roof that we're going to use is going to be this. I'm going to hold shift and select it so the bell and the top of the roof is selected. And finally, we're also going to make use out of this. So again, holding shift, we're going to select it. For now, for roof, I think we can leave it as is. We can always come back to that. So let's go ahead and actually I will select this roof over here since I quite like this one. I'm going to go ahead and select it and hold Alt and just bring it all the way to the back like so. Then I'm going to simply bring it outside of the water section just like that. And now let's go ahead and start building it over. So what we need to do is simply we need to create a nice type of a look in the center area of this roof over here. And it's quite a simple process for now, since we also need to make sure that we have this roof properly set up. And one of the things for the roof is because this area is going to be open, this roof, as you can see, it does not have any of the faces. If you're using it in Blender, for example, or have it set up as two-faced type of a material, then it would be fine. But for now, we need to go ahead and fix it. So I'm just going to search for cylinder, for example, or circular. And there's nothing to find, so I'm just going to real quick go back onto this area over here, and that's what we're going to be using. This one over here, I'm just going to check actually that the underneath is quite plain. We can make use out of that actually. I'm going to just grab this holding Alt and just putting it next to the clock tower, clicking F, and then readjusting this over here. So what we're going to do basically is we're going to essentially cover this top section of the tower. If it was lower, perhaps it would have been fine, but because now it's going to be next to the entrance and you can see the top, you're going to definitely see that some of the parts are missing from this roof. So let's go ahead and just rotate it around actually 180 degrees. Check. Actually, I'm going to keep it as is. We can either use the part with no detail or with detail, depending on your choice. And I'm going to squish it down actually quite a bit like so. And I'm just going to put it in like so, and making sure that we have it set right in the middle, something like this. I'm going to take off the grid lock a little bit, set it to 5 instead, and there we go. Yeah, that looks quite all right. Okay, so I'm going to grab both of them, and I'm going to lower this down like so, just like that. And I'm going to get this bell as well lowered down, and seeing how it looks like in regards to the size itself. Size is a little bit too big. Let's go ahead and lower this down a little bit. So something like this. Lower this down as well. And even more actually, we need to lower it down by quite a bit. The reason we're lowering this down is basically because we want to make this a little bit more animated. Actually, I'm going to grab this roof and lower this down a little bit more, I reckon. There you go. No gaps on the side. All right, so as I was saying before, we need to make sure that this bell is as large as it can be, but at the same time, it'll need to rotate. So what do I mean by that is it'll basically need to ping like this for the end of the game. And I'm going to show you how to actually set this up properly, because this is just a single object. We need to make sure that whenever we move, only the bell moves itself when we're creating animations, and now everything moves all at once, including this foundation at the top as well. So I'll actually just move it a little bit more to the center. So for us to do that, we're actually going to use modeling toolkit. So let's go to the top left hand corner, use modeling toolkit. And the thing that we're going to use this time is going to basically help us to break down this entire mesh. And that's going to be within this section over here. I'm just going to real quick find it over. So here you go. It takes a while to find it, but that's the one called split within transforms tab. let's go ahead and simply have this selected. And actually, sorry, before doing that, I do recommend you to simply make sure, well, we can click on split. And once it starts splitting it up, it's going to generate ourselves new meshes in generate area. And I was going to say to recommend you make a duplicate, but it's just going to create a duplicate, not a duplicate, but split mesh into separate static meshes. So it's not going to delete the original or change it in any other way. And we can keep the rest as is. We can go ahead and click accept. And now we can just see that by clicking on this, for example, we get ourselves a bell and some other areas as well. We can click on the folder over here and see that all of these are split into multiple parts. So what I recommend you doing is to make it simple for the future is to grab these parts at the top. As you can see, these ones, this top section over here, and just combine it back to a single object. That wouldn't overcomplicate it. So go into create, you can select the merge icon over here, and then you can just simply click, make sure to have delete inputs selected, click accept, and now it's going to be one object over here. We're going to do the same thing for this bell and its top ring as well. We're just going to go ahead and click merge, and now we have ourselves a simple bell at the very top, which we're going to be able to ring. The only thing that we need to do is just we need to make sure that when it rings, it's not actually just going to go like that. Although it does look pretty cool if it's like that. So you might be interested in leaving it like this. So when it does the ringing, it looks more intense swaying. But I do want the origin point to be in this area over here. So it will be rotating around its own axis. So the way we can do it is if we were to go to the modeling mode, back onto the modeling mode, within a transformations tab, there is going to be an area called a pivot. We're just going to go ahead and select it, and now you can see that this gizmo changes within our pivot. We can actually move this pivot without moving the object, and we can just position it like so, so it'll be at the top of this ring. We can now hit accept, and now it's going to have this pivot be basically attached over here. Now you can see it's moving around its own axis. So before it was attached still to this previous object, to this area over here, which was causing the, as you saw, this entire belt to be swaying, including the ring. And now it's going to be just swinging it like so, and it's going to be looking much better overall. And yeah, that's something that's needed to be done. It's going to be implemented within the animation sequence later down the line. So now I'm just going to go ahead and grab this entire thing like so, grab it just like that, and yeah, move it to the very top of this building. And we're going to be pretty much done with the bell. We just go ahead and use this as a reference, making sure that the bell is set up nicely. And actually I will use, I guess, a different roof for that, so I'll just reposition this bell to be pretty much the same overall, like so. We might need to make certain adjustments. So for example, yeah, the roof itself needs to be a little bit bigger overall. So let's go ahead and first of all make sure that this is centered, which it does look like it. I'm going to take off the gray box now and go ahead and go back to the selection mode, so we wouldn't see the modeling mode on the side. Going to select the roof itself, going to the roof section, and I will select one of the roofs. It's going to be a little bit thicker, so maybe this one over here. This one looks quite nice. Maybe I'll just go with that. I think it'll look quite nice actually. Going to go ahead and reposition it to be to the center of this building. And we also need to do the same thing for the recentering of this section over here. So what I will do, actually, I will go to the side view over here. Since this is the highest spot, it's actually quite easy to select this entire thing. I'm going to click F just to make sure that this is properly selected, and just maybe reposition it a little bit. Maybe even make it just a little bit bigger. So I think it's going to look quite all right. And something like that perhaps. And maybe I'll just move this down a little bit, like so. There you go, something like that. I'll reposition the roof a little bit, like so. And I think, there you go. This looks quite nice. Okay, so we got ourselves a very nice bell that later on is going to be ringing throughout the streets, and the game is going to be starting to get in regards to the design. So that's going to be it for this lesson. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing